Good morning students. Today we are going to study chemistry for class 8. Today we'll begin a new chapter, chapter number 2, physical and chemical changes. This is first video for chapter 2. In our day-to-day lives, we see so many changes are happening around us. One substance is changed to the other substance. Like when the sun shines brightly, then the ice on the mountain peaks, it melts and it forms liquid water, and that water flows into the rivers and streams. And again, because of sunlight from the rivers and streams, the water evaporates and forms clouds. Just now what I said, these are all examples of natural changes. Natural changes means in which we have got no participation, in which humans have no interference, okay? And there are many man-made changes also, like the cooking of food. I know in this time you must be enjoying delicious food at home. More man-made examples are the burning of fuel, turning of milk to curd. So we see so many changes are happening, even we don't notice these changes sometimes. So scientists, they wanted to study these changes, and for their convenience they divided all the changes into two categories: physical changes and chemical changes. Now a question may come to your mind: how are we going to define a change, whether it is a physical change or a chemical change? You just need to ask one question: is a new substance formed? If a new substance is formed, then that is a physical change. If no new substance is formed, if a new substance is formed, then that is a chemical change. If no new substance is formed, then that is a physical change. Okay. Now let us see the definition of physical change. A change in which no new substance is formed and the chemical composition of the original substance is not altered is a physical change. Okay. A physical change is a change in which no new substance is formed and the chemical composition of the original substance is not altered. Let us understand this. In a physical change, nothing new will be formed. That means what we began with, we will be getting the same things, and then the chemical composition of the original substance is not altered. What does that mean? It means, we'll take one example for that. Suppose if we take ice, and ice melts to form liquid water. Ice, the chemical formula for that is also H2O. What liquid water we got, that is also H2O. That means chemically it is same. Chemically both are H2O only. What is the difference? That only the state changes. Ice was solid and water, what we got is liquid. Now here is a key point, that all the changes in state, they are physical changes. All the changes in states are physical changes. In the first chapter, we have studied about the changes of states like freezing, boiling, melting, vaporization, condensation, sublimation. All these examples, they come under physical changes. Alright, now let us see some examples. Melting of wax. See, I told you melting, it is a state of change. That means it is a physical change. Magnetization of iron. In magnetization of iron, a piece of iron is converted to a magnet. That is also a physical change. Evaporation of water. Again you see a change of state. That means physical change. Sublimation of iodine. Again a change of state. So it is also a physical change. If you don't remember what sublimation is, it is the change of state from solid to the gaseous state directly without going into the liquid state. Some common examples of the substances that show sublimation are dry ice, then camphor, and one is iodine. Okay. Then tearing of a piece of paper. When we tear a piece of paper, what happens? Only that piece of paper divides into two parts. Chemically there it has not gone any change. That earlier what paper we had, that was that and the pieces that we got afterwards, both will have the same chemical composition. Okay. Then breaking of a piece of chalk. If a chalk breaks into two pieces, that is also a physical change. In fact, breaking of anything, breaking of glass, breaking of a piece of paper, all these, they are physical changes. And the last one is stretching of rubber band. When we stretch a piece of rubber band, only its shape changes. Earlier it was condensed. When we stretch it, it elongates. But chemically there is no change. What was that small piece made up of? The same will be the chemical composition of the elongated piece. Okay. We'll proceed with the characteristics of physical changes. The first one is, generally the change is temporary and can be reversed by reversing the conditions. That means physical changes are temporary changes, and if we want, we can reverse the changes. We'll understand with the help of one example. You take a glass of water and in that you put a spoonful of salt and then you stir it. Then you will get a salt solution. That salt solution, if you evaporate or if you boil it, then what will happen? The water will vaporize. It will form vapors and it will go into the atmosphere. At the bottom, what will be left? Salt will be left. And we can get the water back from those vapors. We can collect those vapors and convert it into water. So you see, we started with salt and water and again we got back salt and water. So we see physical changes are temporary and they can be reversed. But it is written generally. That means it is not the case with all the physical changes. Like I'll give one example, the shattering of a piece of glass. It is an irreversible change. Can you mend them back? Can you put the pieces of glass back to form that glass? No, it is not possible. But in most of the cases, we can say it is reversible and can be reversed. Alright. Then no new substance is formed, so there is no change in the mass of the substance undergoing a physical change. This is the most important point. No new substance is formed in a physical change, nothing new we are going to get, and the mass is not going to change. Mass of the reactants will be equal to the mass of products. Suppose in that same example, if we took 10 gram of water and 2 grams of salt, on making that salt solution, we will be getting 12 grams of the salt solution. Okay, so we see what we started with, the same we are going to get back, and nothing new will be formed. There is no change in composition. Alright, the third point, same. There is no change in the chemical composition of the original substances. The chemical composition is not going to change. When we mix that salt and water, neither salt will change its composition after the formation of solution, neither the water will be. Okay, water is going to be H2O before and after the reaction. Alright. There may or may not be a change in the physical properties such as state, shape, size or color of the original substances. In most of the physical changes, there is a change in the physical properties. Physical properties like the state may change, the color may change, the shape may change. The change of state we have studied, all the changes of states, they are included in physical changes, isn't it? Like melting, boiling, evaporation, condensation, freezing, in all these the state changes, and they are physical changes. Then a change of shape may happen. Suppose if you are stretching a rubber band, its shape changes. Earlier it was condensed, after stretching it becomes elongated, change in shape is there. Then change of the size may happen. That piece of paper if we take and if we tear it, then the size changes, it becomes smaller. So we see normally when there is a physical change, the change in physical properties take place. But you should see this may or may not is written. That means it is not necessary that a change of physical property will happen only. One example I will tell you, the magnetization of iron, conversion of iron to a piece of magnet. There is no change in the physical properties, but still it is a physical change. Alright. Then the last one, no significant change in energy is evolved. That means this point you should understand carefully, that in physical changes energy is involved. Just like when you boil water, then you have to supply energy, then only it boils. But this change in energy is very small in comparison to chemical changes. In chemical changes, the change in energy is very large. Like burning of fuel. For burning of fuel, when you light that matchstick, after that, when that wood burns, so much energy is released, isn't it? So that is a vast energy change, but don't think that in physical changes there is no energy change. There is change, but it is comparatively smaller or less than the chemical changes. Now we will have a quick recap of all these points. Generally, the change is temporary and can be reversed by reversing the conditions. No new substance is formed, so there is no change in the mass of the substance undergoing a physical change. There is no change in chemical composition of the original substances. There may or may not be a change in the physical properties such as state, shape, size or color of the original substance. No significant change in energy is involved. In all these points, the most important one is no new substance is formed, so the chemical composition is not changed. Now we are going to see one activity. The aim of this activity is to show that sublimation of camphor is a physical change. What is the aim? That sublimation of camphor is a physical change. The setup I have drawn on the board. I have tried to draw it. Don't judge me on my drawing skills here. Okay. So let us see what are the materials required in this one. We have got a funnel here, a glass funnel, and this glass funnel on the top is topped by a cotton wool. Then this glass funnel is placed in a evaporating dish. Evaporating dish is placed on a wire gauze. Here wire gauze is there, which is supported by a tripod stand, and for heating we have used Bunsen burner. And inside this evaporating dish we have kept camphor, and that is covered by the funnel. Okay. So what happens if we heat this one? If we heat this camphor, the camphor will be forming its vapors. If you remember, camphor, it is a sublime solid. Sublime solid means if it is heated, it is directly going to form its vapors without going into the liquid phase. So the solid camphor will form its vapors. So its vapors will rise up like this, and they will condense on the cooler parts of the test tube. The colder parts here, it is hot at the bottom, but these are the cooler parts. It will condense here. And what is the function of this cotton wool? It is to prevent the vapors from going out. Okay. After this, we will stop heating, and if we take this funnel, then we can get back camphor. The original camphor we can get back. Okay. So which property is applied? That physical changes are reversible and they can be reversed by reversing the conditions. They are temporary. Here also we got the camphor back. First we had solid camphor. On heating it forms its vapors, and from those vapors we can get the camphor back. Okay, understood? That's all for today's video. In this video we have covered the 4 topics. The first is introduction to changes, then what are physical changes, its definition, then the third is characteristics of physical change, and the last one was this activity. Okay. As for your homework, you may read the book up to where I have taught you today, and you make a list of 10 examples of physical changes. Note it down in your copy, those who have the copies, and those who don't, write it in your rough copy. Thank you.